Have you ever encountered situations where sharing extensive personal details with your family seemed to create more complications than comfort? As we journey through our later years, the inclination to be completely open and honest with those we cherish is quite understandable. Many operate under the assumption that total transparency is the benchmark of a healthy relationship. However, life experience often teaches us that certain matters are perhaps better held a little closer. This isn't about constructing walls of secrecy, but rather about exercising discernment born from accumulated wisdom. Not every thought, feeling, or piece of information needs to be broadcast, even to our nearest and dearest. We encourage you to become part of our community here at Old Age Wisdom. Consider liking this video or subscribing if you find value in discussions like these. Indeed, in various circumstances, maintaining privacy regarding specific subjects can be instrumental in safeguarding both your personal serenity and the harmony within your family connections. This video delves into 5 distinct areas where you might consider practicing more discretion, particularly after reaching the age of 65. The intention here is not to advocate for dishonesty or emotional distance. Instead, it's about preserving your valued independence, alleviating potential sources of undue stress, and ensuring that your personal boundaries are acknowledged and respected by others. You might find it quite revealing just how much tranquility can be cultivated by choosing to keep a few personal matters confidential. Please stay with us for the entire discussion, as grasping these 5 points could genuinely refine how you interact with your family, potentially bringing greater ease and comfort to your senior years. Let us begin exploring the first topic. Number 1 relates to your financial decisions and overall assets. Finances often represent one of the most sensitive topics as we age. You might operate under the belief that complete openness about your monetary situation with family members will prevent misunderstandings down the road. Yet, paradoxically, full disclosure frequently stirs up more difficulties than it resolves. Divulging every specific detail concerning your savings accounts, investment portfolios, or even the exact sum set aside for retirement can unfortunately invite unsolicited opinions, subtle or overt pressure, and sometimes even regrettable family disputes. This is particularly true when differing generations hold vastly different perspectives and attitudes toward managing money. If you appreciate content focused on navigating later life with grace, please support Old Age Wisdom by liking this video or subscribing to our channel. While some relatives undoubtedly have your best interests at heart, their input or well-meaning suggestions regarding your finances can start to feel invasive over time. In less fortunate scenarios, individuals who previously maintained a respectful distance might suddenly develop an intense curiosity about your financial affairs once they learn specifics about your resources. It's a pattern you may have observed before. Perhaps a peer shared their retirement plans openly with their children, only to face constant questioning of their subsequent choices. Maybe you've witnessed a friend contending with persistent suggestions about how they ought to be utilizing their funds, whether it involves downsizing their home, altering their investment strategy, or allocating more savings for their grandchildren. Seeking financial counsel when you desire it is one thing. However, when others begin to feel entitled to influence your monetary decisions, the situation can rapidly become a source of significant frustration and resentment. Furthermore, remember that once you reveal the complete scope of your financial landscape to others, retracting that information is impossible. There's also the critical aspect of maintaining your autonomy. If your family members start to perceive you as someone potentially making questionable financial choices, they might feel justified in intervening. Often, this stems from genuine concern, but their actions might not always align with respecting your independence and your right to manage your own affairs. You could encounter comments phrased as questions such as, "Are you quite certain that's a prudent use of your money?" Or perhaps suggestions like, "Wouldn't it be more sensible to gift some of that inheritance now rather than waiting?" Even in the absence of direct urging, the mere awareness that your financial activities are being closely monitored and evaluated by others can feel deeply unsettling and erode your sense of personal control. This certainly doesn't imply that all financial conversations with family should be avoided. Establishing clear estate plans and sharing crucial information with designated individuals at the appropriate time is undoubtedly wise and necessary. However, There is generally no compelling need to lay bare every single financial detail. The precise figures in your bank accounts, your day-to-day spending habits, or the specifics of a recent investment. These are fundamentally personal decisions that belong solely to you. If preserving privacy around certain financial elements enables you to enjoy your life more fully, free from unwelcome commentary or judgment, then this approach isn't about being secretive. It's about employing sound judgment and discretion, a hallmark of wisdom gained over the years. Number 2 concerns health matters that aren't immediately critical or pressing. As we accumulate more birthdays, experiencing a greater number of health-related adjustments becomes quite common. Naturally, there can be a temptation to voice every minor ache, pain, stiffness, or moment of discomfort to our family members. After all, they care profoundly about our well-being, and we often feel a responsibility to keep them informed. Nevertheless, a discernible line exists between updating loved ones about significant health developments and potentially overwhelming them with a constant stream of minor physical complaints. Regularly discussing every small health issue can sometimes provoke unnecessary worry, introduce additional stress into relationships, or even prompt well-intentioned family members to try and assume decision-making roles regarding your health prematurely. You might have personal experience with this dynamic. Mentioning something relatively minor, like occasionally sore joints or feeling a bit low on energy, can suddenly entrap you in protracted discussions about needing immediate doctor visits, implementing drastic dietary changes, or trying various improvement supplements. Younger family members, especially, often react out of genuine love and concern, but their anxiety can quickly morph into perceived pressure. Before you know it, they might be researching conditions online, attempting to schedule medical appointments on your behalf, or offering remarks such as, "You really should be taking better care of yourself," seemingly overlooking the decades you've successfully managed your own health with responsibility and competence. Taking control of how you share information is a key part of navigating these years with confidence. There is also a subtle psychological dimension to consider. If you consistently bring up health difficulties, even relatively insignificant ones, your family may subconsciously begin to view you as experiencing a more rapid decline than is actually the case. This perception can lead them to treat you differently, perhaps assuming you are more fragile or dependent than you truly feel. Once this image takes hold in their minds, it can be surprisingly difficult to alter. Suddenly, they might hesitate to include you in certain activities or events, question your capacity for travel, or suggest you require assistance with tasks you handle perfectly well, all stemming from a comment about your knees feeling stiff one particular day. Of course, open communication about serious health conditions, particularly those impacting your daily functioning or requiring family support, remains absolutely essential and appropriate. However, choosing consciously not to elaborate on every minor ailment doesn't equate to concealment or hiding the truth. It simply represents a method of preserving your personal autonomy and independence. You possess the inherent right to manage your own health journey without enduring constant external pressure or absorbing the added stress of others' anxieties. There are times when opting for silence regarding non-critical health updates is actually the most effective strategy for maintaining control over your own well-being and ensuring your interactions remain positive and respectful. If you've stayed with us this far and are finding this discussion helpful, please consider supporting Old Age Wisdom by subscribing, ensuring you won't miss our future content designed to empower and inform your later years. Number 3 addresses sharing your candid opinions regarding family disagreements. Family relationships are frequently complex, forming an intricate tapestry woven with history and emotion. As we gain more life experience, we often find ourselves positioned near, or sometimes drawn into, interpersonal issues we had no intention of becoming involved in. Think of siblings potentially clashing over inheritance details, adult children harboring lingering resentments from decades past, or pairs of relatives who simply cannot seem to find common ground. These dynamics are present, to varying degrees, in almost every family structure. Having lived through numerous decades, you inevitably start to recognize familiar patterns repeating themselves, old conflicts resurfacing, familiar arguments reigniting, and historical tensions echoing through the generations. It's quite natural to feel an urge to speak out, offer your perspective, or explicitly state who you believe bears responsibility, but doing so frequently serves only to escalate tensions further. Perhaps you've encountered this firsthand, attempting to mediate a dispute only to find yourself uncomfortably positioned in the crossfire, or maybe sharing a strongly held opinion with the belief it would clarify matters, only to later discover your words were misinterpreted or used to fuel further discord. The challenging truth is that many family disagreements tend to resolve themselves organically over time, or conversely, they persist regardless of your intervention. Moreover, when conflicts eventually subside, people often retain vivid memories of specific statements made during emotionally charged moments. Explicitly taking sides or voicing a definitive judgment can leave an indelible mark on relationships. Long after the initial argument has faded, lingering resentment directed towards you might unfortunately remain, complicating future interactions and potentially straining bonds unnecessarily. This principle becomes especially pertinent when considering sharing your unvarnished views about younger family members' lives or choices. Expressing candid thoughts about a son-in-law's career path, your daughter's approach to parenting, or a nephew's personal life decisions might feel like simple honesty from your perspective. However, such direct comments frequently leave lasting scars. People rarely forget instances where they felt criticized, judged, or disapproved of, even if your intentions were genuinely rooted in love or concern. What you perceive as helpful guidance or constructive feedback might easily be received by them as rejection or condemnation, thereby creating an emotional chasm that proves difficult to bridge later on. Maintaining harmony often requires careful consideration of when and how to express opinions within the family circle. Consequently, one of the most valuable and thoughtful practices you can cultivate, particularly after age 65, is the art of employing strategic silence or thoughtful reserve. This doesn't necessitate passively agreeing with everything you hear or completely ignoring significant problems. Rather, it means recognizing that you don't need to contribute your opinion to every single family matter that arises. Sometimes, instead of jumping in with advice or judgment, the most constructive and supportive response is a simple, neutral affirmation like, "I truly hope everything works out for the best," or perhaps, "I have confidence that you'll arrive at a sound decision." This approach allows you to remain a supportive presence without becoming entangled in conflicts that, ultimately, are not yours to resolve. Protecting your own peace, as well as fostering family harmony, sometimes hinges on keeping certain thoughts respectfully to yourself. Number 4 involves dwelling on regrets about the past. As the years accumulate, it's entirely natural and human to reflect upon the course of your life, considering the decisions made, the opportunities perhaps missed, and the alternative paths that might have been taken. Virtually everyone experiences feelings of regret in some capacity as they look back. However, this universal human experience doesn't automatically mean that every regret needs to be openly articulated, especially within the family circle. You might feel a pull to share candidly about aspects of your past you wish had unfolded differently, whether related to your career trajectory, your methods of raising children, or pivotal life choices made long ago. Yet, what feels like vulnerable openness or insightful introspection to you can sometimes be received and interpreted quite differently by those who love you most. When parents or grandparents frequently verbalize significant regrets, their children or grandchildren can easily internalize these sentiments in unintended and sometimes painful ways. For instance, if you express wishing you had pursued fewer career ambitions to spend more time at home, your adult children might mistakenly interpret this as, "My parent feels they weren't present enough for me," potentially seeding unnecessary guilt. Similarly, mentioning regret over not relocating for a different opportunity or failing to chase a particular dream might be heard as an implication that the life shared with them felt somehow incomplete or lacked sufficient fulfillment, even if that was far from your intended message. These backward-looking reflections, shared without careful consideration, can unfortunately linger and generate needless emotional burdens or subtle tensions within the family dynamic. Processing personal history is important, but sharing requires wisdom. The same principle applies to reflections concerning past relationships. Even a seemingly casual or lighthearted remark about a former romantic interest could inadvertently cause your current spouse or family members to feel as though they were perhaps a secondary choice or that your commitment wasn't wholehearted. Furthermore, frequently reminiscing about lost friendships or dwelling on missed professional opportunities can subtly alter how others perceive you over time. Instead of primarily remembering the resilient, capable, and steady individual they have always known and admired, they might begin to view you as someone perpetually dissatisfied, feeling stuck in the past, or lamenting what might have been. This is why certain deeply held regrets are often better processed privately or perhaps with a trusted confidant outside the immediate family. It's perfectly healthy to reflect on these experiences, learn from them, and even achieve personal growth through that introspection. However, repeatedly voicing these regrets to your family rarely alters the unchangeable past. More often than not, it primarily serves to add an emotional weight onto the shoulders of those who care deeply for you and may feel powerless to alleviate your feelings or guilty about their perceived role in your life story. The past, with all its complexities, cannot be rewritten, but the manner in which you carry its lessons and integrate them into your present and future is entirely within your control. Choosing thoughtful discretion about sharing certain past regrets can be an act of kindness both to yourself and to your loved ones, preserving emotional energy for present joys and future possibilities. If you are still engaged with this video and finding these points resonant, we appreciate you being here. In summary and moving forward, throughout this discussion, we've explored several areas where practicing thoughtful discretion within the family, especially as we navigate our later years, can contribute significantly to personal peace and relational harmony. We considered the wisdom of maintaining a degree of privacy regarding the specifics of your financial situation to avoid unsolicited advice and potential conflict. We touched upon managing communication about non-critical health concerns to preserve independence and prevent unnecessary worry. We also discussed the value of strategic silence when faced with sensitive family disputes, allowing you to remain supportive without becoming entangled. Finally, we reflected on the potential impact of sharing past regrets and the wisdom in processing some of these reflections more privately. These aren't rules set in stone, but rather points of wisdom gleaned from experience, aimed at fostering greater comfort and autonomy. We sincerely hope these insights from old age wisdom provide valuable food for thought as you navigate your relationships. If you found this discussion helpful or thought-provoking, we would be so grateful if you would take a moment to like this video. Please consider subscribing to the Old Age Wisdom channel and clicking the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos designed to support and enrich your journey. Your comments are also welcome. Sharing your own experiences or perspectives can benefit the entire community. And if you know someone else who might appreciate this conversation, please feel free to share the video with them. Thank you for watching and for being part of the Old Age Wisdom community.